It began with a beautiful, terrifying sight, a celestial event that heralded humanity's end. From the sky fell star spirits granting incredible talents. But with these gifts came something far more sinister. Nature itself awoke, twisting into monstrous forms. The very structure of the world began to change. But before all that, our story starts in a boring office. A young planner's proposal is brutally rejected. He's told to pack his things and get out. Outside, two colleagues discuss what just happened. One of them points out the idea was actually good. But the boss doesn't care. Someone had to be the scapegoat. He shamelessly steals the idea for his own team. Our protagonist is left stunned by the betrayal. This is Kano Hotaka, a rookie game planner. He vents to his only supporter, an online friend. A friend with a cringy name but a good heart. Kano accepts that his big break isn't coming. He looks at a photo of his family, his motivation. He can't bear to let down the people who believe in him. Suddenly, his friend's message begins to distort. A strange countdown appears on his screen. He wonders if it's some kind of new virus. But it's not just his computer. It's every screen in the office. A message appears. Welcome to the world of a real game. The world outside begins to tremble and break apart. Kano stares in disbelief at the screen. The title on screen is the one from his stolen proposal. A monster appears outside, but they dismiss it as a promotion. The creature shatters the glass, its jaws opening to claim them all. The office party ends with a scream and a splash of red. Panic erupts as the survivors scramble for their lives. On a broken screen, a final message from his friend flickers out. A blinding flash of light consumes everything, but Kano's only thought is to get home. He desperately calls his sister Nozomi. He tells her to hide, promising he'll be there soon. With one call made, he prepares for another. He hesitates to dial his ex, the one he pushed away, but his finger moves with a will of its own. He knows this is no time for personal regrets. Just then, the beast crashes through the stairwell behind them. Its gaping maw closes in on the terrified crowd. And in a moment of pure cowardice, his boss shoves him forward. Guess this is one way to handle a bad performance review. Kano can only stare, his family flashing before his eyes. He plummets towards a gruesome end. But from the sky, an unexpected savior arrives. A missile strikes the creature, erupting in a fiery blast. Kano is thrown from the monster's path, hitting the ground hard. His consciousness fades into darkness. A memory surfaces. The day he broke up with a girl named Sarah. He called himself a background character, unworthy of her world. His eyes snap open, filled with a new fire. He's alive, kneeling in the heart of a burning city. Battered and broken, but still breathing. Using a piece of rebar for support, he forces himself to stand. His family is waiting. He cannot give up. He finally understands his game is now their reality, and across the horizon, the war for this new world has already begun. Kano struggles with the impossible truth of his new reality. A horrifying vision flashes through his mind. His sister's fate. His heart shatters as he screams out for his family. Fueled by rage and grief, he charges the beast head-on. But his desperate attack is met with overwhelming force. He collapses, wondering if a background character can even dream. The monster's weaponized tongue closes in for the final blow. His life ends on a spike, asking the universe for a do-over. And just like that, he wakes up in a crowded school hallway. His classmates ask if he's okay, calling him by his old name. An announcement declares it's a crucial day for all third years. He's not just alive, he's been sent back to high school. This world is different, but he doesn't care. He's been reborn. This time, he vows to rewrite his destiny with his own hands. Suddenly, a colossal clock appears, because subtlety is overrated. A strange sound draws his attention upward. His eyes widen in dawning horror. It's the same countdown that heralded the end of his world. He points it out, but no one else seems to see it. He's the only one who remembers, the only one who knows. This isn't a second chance, it's a death loop. He's forced to relive the memory of his family's demise. But then, the game grants him a main character cheat code. The hands of the great clock begin to stir. The very structure of time seems to shift around him. The gears of fate are turning in his favor. The countdown flickers, the numbers scrambling into something new. His deadline has been extended by an entire year. A system window details his unique hidden talent, Creator. He learns he can hold 4 talents, a privilege unheard of. He questions the paradox of this new reality. A memory of his online friend sparks a wild theory, but he quickly dismisses it as a coincidence. Right now, his only goal is to extend the countdown. He'll do whatever it takes to buy more time. He vows to stop the apocalypse he helped create. But first, there's something he needs to confirm. He breaks from the crowd, ignoring their protests. He has no memories of this life, only the last one. His eyes scan the crowd, searching for a familiar face. And there she is, his sister, Nozomi. alive and well. Overwhelmed with relief, he pulls her into a desperate hug. He makes a silent vow to never let her go again. She can feel him trembling, confused by his intensity. Public displays of affection are clearly not her thing. He frantically asks about their parents, earning a strange look. His little reunion is cut short by a booming voice from the stage. And of course, the teacher is a dead ringer for his old boss. The teacher then calls the last two third years to the stage. A girl with long, dark hair rises from the crowd. Kano freezes. It's his ex, the one he pushed away. He notes that she hasn't changed one bit. The crowd murmurs, gossiping about the school's star and its failure. She turns to him, ready to face their judgment together. He walks with a newfound confidence, but his mind is elsewhere. The teacher begins to explain the awakening ceremony. In this world, everything is decided by a single metric, star rank, a number that dictates a person's entire future. He calls it the most important measure of their lives. The process is simple. Touch the device and reveal your destiny. The teacher announces it's time for the school's star, Hager. A brilliant light erupts, revealing an incredible star rank of 16. The crowd erupts in praise for their school's super elite. But the praise quickly turns to mockery aimed at Kano. His sister Nozomi steps in, ready to defend his honor. She believes in him, even when no one else does. Kano steps forward, reflecting on this world's cruel ranking system. He braces himself, ready to face his new destiny. The result is nothing. He is unable to awaken. The entire school erupts in laughter and ridicule. Even the teacher joins in, savoring his public humiliation. But a hidden system window tells a different story. His creator talent just drained the entire machine dry. The instructors panic as the priceless device goes dark. They find the energy core has been completely emptied. The teacher demands a refill, but it's not that simple. He sees this as the perfect chance to crush Kano completely. Kano senses the challenge and decides to play along. He activates his skill again, draining even more hidden energy. The teacher is furious, blaming his staff for the malfunction. The technician trembles, unable to explain the phenomenon. Fed up, the teacher decides to move on to the next phase. A trial dungeon is opened for all the newly awakened students, but Kano is barred from entry, deemed unworthy to participate. His classmates, now clad in armor, look down on him. Sarah approaches, surprised by his calm demeanor. She can't understand how he, of all people, failed to awaken. But Kano is brimming with a confidence she's never seen. Just then, a new challenger appears to steal his girl. He declares them the perfect match, chosen by the gods themselves. Sarah unleashes her power, her stats confirming her elite status. With a single glare, she tells the challenger to back off. Her sheer intimidation sends him and his cronies scrambling. He retreats, but not before promising to settle the score inside the dungeon. Kano tries to explain, but Sarah seems to misunderstand his calm. She admits she's not disappointed, just frustrated for his sake. She declares she'll become strong enough to protect them both. A memory surfaces of a promise he once made to her. Kano realizes the roles have completely reversed. So much for being the hero. The teacher's voice cuts through the moment, officially exiling Kano. But on stage, another teacher begins a surprising speech. He questions the very foundation of their world's cruel hierarchy. The head teacher is furious, but the man simply blames the world's madness. And then, the assembly takes a very unexpected turn. He's not alone. The entire faculty reveals their monstrous forms. Their plan has been years in the making, all for this one moment. He issues a simple, terrifying command: kill them all. Panic consumes the hall as the students are hunted down. And just like that, the doomsday clock jumps forward by 20 days. Kano realizes his knowledge of the future is already becoming obsolete. He needs a new plan, and the system offers him a lifeline, a personal inventory, but most of it is useless without a talent. But one item stands out, a gift from his mysterious friend, X. It's a map of the school, revealing all its secrets. He buys it instantly. The map immediately plots a course to his sister's location. He finds Nozomi, who seems to have awakened a unique trait. There's no time for questions. He grabs her hand and pulls her to safety. As he touches her, his creator skill begins to activate. He's stunned to see his sister's star rank is nearly as high as Sarah's. It seems his little sister is one of this world's hidden elites. The system explains the 3 pillars of a player's strength. It's a simple formula. Level times star rank equals power. As a game planner, Kano finds the system surprisingly balanced. While the gods set the rules, there are ways to break them. The ultimate power in this world is star rank 0, the sun. But Kano's creator talent exists outside the known universe. His rank isn't 0, it's infinity. The system offers him a choice. Copy his sister's A-rank talent, Meanwhile, the teacher monster unleashes his fury on the students. Nozomi is paralyzed by fear, unable to move a muscle. The monster sets its sights on her, ready to strike. But Kano moves like lightning, pushing her to safety. He meets the monster's attack with a punch of his own. The beast roars, furious at the rankless boy's interference. But the impact shatters its arm, sending it reeling in pain. It can't comprehend how an unawakened student has such power. Kano stands revealed, his new stats glowing for all to see. He's copied a fighting talent, spending points to become a warrior. The monster dismisses it as luck, refusing to accept defeat. Kano answers with a devastating uppercut to the jaw. Suddenly, the monster begs for its life, playing the victim. But Kano remembers its threat to his sister. There will be no mercy. With a final explosive punch, the fight is over. He lands, the monster defeated in just 2 hits. A system window confirms his victory and rewards him with bonus points. Nozomi is stunned, but Kano tells her it's time to go. The other students rally behind him, their new hero. He tells his sister they need to hide, not run. The students reach the gate and find a strange barrier of light. But the school bully shoves his way forward, done with waiting. The bully sneers, calling them all fools for hesitating. He touches the barrier and is instantly engulfed in a flash of light. A violent blast sends him and his cronies flying backward. The students are left stunned by the brutal, instant karma. Around them, others begin to scream, collapsing in agony. A girl's sanity hits 0, and a dark power begins to consume her. The teacher monster laughs, revealing a hidden danger, dropping sanity. A system window confirms it. Low sanity means low power. Kano realizes this world has rules he didn't write. He can see everyone's sanity, a crucial tool for survival. His first priority is finding a safe zone to regroup. The map from his friend reveals a single sanctuary, the gymnasium, but a desperate cry for help stops them in their tracks. A girl named Mina is on the ground, her sanity critically low. Kano tries to pull his sister away, warning her it's too late. But Nozomi refuses to abandon her best friend. She rushes to Mina's side with a phone and a pair of headphones. It's an app called Silver Key, designed to restore sanity. For a price, of course. The app offers different modes for different levels of mental distress. Kano can't help but notice that capitalism survived the apocalypse. But Mina, lost to fear, violently rejects the help. Her sanity plummets to 0, and the transformation is complete. Nozomi watches in horror, realizing she failed. Her best friend is now a mindless, tentacled beast. The creature lashes out, aiming a deadly strike at its former friend. But Kano intervenes, catching the attack with his bare hands. He effortlessly redirects the monster's momentum. A single powerful kick sends the creature reeling. Kano knows there's only one way this can end. He prepares to give his sister's friend a merciful release. With a sickening crunch, the monster is reduced to nothing. A system window confirms the kill, rewarding Kano with points. But Nozomi is lost in despair, blaming her own kindness for the tragedy. She believes her compassion is not a virtue, but a fatal weakness. She begs her brother to indulge her foolish heart just this once. But Kano sees only strength, vowing to protect her until she finds it herself. The system chimes in with a new mission to save students for bonus points. Nozomi is confused by his words, but he simply offers his hand. He promises to always support her no matter what she chooses. With her brother's help, she finds the strength to stand once more. Their new plan is simple: navigate the chaos and find a sanctuary. Nozomi suggests the school shelter, but Kano knows it's a trap. The transformed teachers know every corner of this school, making it a death trap. He has a different place in mind: the school gymnasium. Inside, dozens of students are huddled together, paralyzed by fear. Kano scans the crowd, having gathered the key players for his plan. But his leadership is immediately challenged by a high-ranking student. Kano assures them all he has a way out, but they demand answers. He calmly picks up a basketball, claiming it holds their salvation. With a smirk, he brings up the old ghost stories about this very gym. The students are baffled by his sudden change in topic. The challenger, Arata, accuses him of wasting precious time. But Nozomi steps in, her faith in her brother unwavering. Others who saw him fight back her up, silencing the doubters. Tensions rise as the survivors begin to turn on each other. Kano breaks the tension, telling them now is not the time to fight. He gives them an ultimatum: trust his crazy plan or leave and face certain doom. Intrigued, Arata decides to bet on the miracle and stays to watch. With the group united, the basketball team's ace offers his assistance. Kano accepts the handshake, copying a new talent: basketball, the ultimate combat sport. He finds a girl with a high-rank accuracy talent. He copies it, offering some unsolicited life advice. The system confirms the copy, leaving him with one slot. His new friends are understandably confused. But Kano isn't just collecting talents, he's fusing them. Basketball and accuracy merge into a new stat-enhancing skill. He immediately puts his new skills on display. The students are stunned by his flawless form. He sinks the shot, but they still don't understand his plan. But this is just the warm-up. He leaps from the free throw line, defying gravity itself, and finishes with a powerful rim-shaking dunk. Next, a perfect three-point shot from way downtown. The crowd erupts, momentarily forgetting the whole apocalypse thing. But Arata knows there's a method to this madness. Kano finally reveals his plan based on the gym's urban legend. A specific shot will trigger a hidden, completely safe space. Arata is stunned, demanding to know how he knows the secret. Kano recalls the 10,000 points he spent on this cheat. It's a bit embarrassing, but necessary for their survival. He prepares for the final shot from the half-court line. The ball soars through the air and sinks without touching the rim. The students cheer, convinced they've been saved. They search the gym, but the hidden space is nowhere to be found. Arata confronts him, but Kano calmly states it's not over yet. The final shot, he explains, is the true key to their salvation. Just when they thought they had a chance, despair sets in again, and their timing couldn't be worse. Monsters are at the door. 3 monstrous beasts have found their hiding spot, trapped between certain death outside and, well, certain death inside. The crowd surges towards the back exit in a desperate stampede, but Nozomi's faith in her brother remains unshaken. Arata and the others desperately try to barricade the door. All their hopes now rest on Kano's final impossible shot. He unleashes the ball with absolute confidence. The entire gym holds its breath, watching the ball's perfect arc. It sinks through the net without a sound. But their celebration is cut short as the monsters finally break through. The students' sanity plummets in the face of certain doom. Even Arata can only beg for the miracle to happen now. But Nozomi's faith in her big brother never wavers for a second. Every eye is fixed on the ball, their last sliver of hope. It banks off the backboard and drops in with a flash of light. A system window confirms it. The ghost story was real. The monsters charge, ready to tear them all apart. But they find only an empty gymnasium. A lone basketball rolls to a stop at the creature's feet. The beast looks around, utterly bewildered. It smashes the floor in a rage, unable to find its prey. From a hidden space, the students watch, completely invisible. Relief and joy erupt as they realize they've been saved. Kano gets a massive point bonus for his heroic rescue. Suddenly, he's the most popular kid in school. Funny how that works. Nozomi beams with pride, her belief in him fully vindicated. Arata approaches, offering a handshake and a sincere apology. The crowd is stunned. The school's lone wolf is bowing to another. Kano accepts, but his focus is already on those still in danger. His creator skill activates, detecting Arata's high-ranked talent. But Kano declines the copy, saving his last slot for a combat skill. Arata questions Kano's reckless methods despite the outcome. Kano just grins, telling the overly serious genius to loosen up. He then claims the treasure chest, the prize for clearing the mission. The reward is a legendary weapon, the Bow of Light, Sarnga. The other students are in awe, inspired by Kano's newfound power. But one girl, an archer named Shizuno, recognizes the bow she's always dreamed of. Kano walks right up to her and offers her the legendary weapon. She's completely flustered, barely managing to shake his hand. Her mind immediately jumps to marriage and kids. Well, that escalated quickly. But Kano's only goal is to copy her archery talent for himself. A flash of light engulfs him as the students watch in shock. He unlocks a new class, the impossibly cool Light Ranger. Fully equipped and ready for battle, he declares it's time to fight back. Elsewhere, a monster corners another terrified student. The beast toys with its prey, savoring the moment of terror. It sneers, ready to deliver the final blow to the worthless human. But a sudden arrow of light pierces its eye. The student looks up to see his savior as the monster collapses. From a nearby rooftop, Kano stands ready, his new bow drawn. His eyes narrow as he shouts a warning to the boy below. More monsters emerge from the shadows, surrounding the student. The system confirms his bow has unlocked 2 new skills. Kano prepares to unleash his newfound archery powers. Another student is captured, his friend screaming his name in despair. Kano leaps from the building, a silent hunter against the sunset. He draws back his bow, charging an arrow with pure light. The shot flies true, a golden streak in the dying light. It finds its mark, ending the monster in a burst of energy. He lands, warning the survivors to run before it's too late. But even with this power, he knows his low stats are a critical weakness. He steels his resolve, knowing there are no save points in this reality. Across the city, points of light appear as star spirits are gathered. A system map updates his progress. 100 saved and 42,000 points earned. The system confirms his progress. Only one beast remains. Kano kneels, exhausted, surrounded by the fallen monsters. With grim determination, he calls upon his system storage. He's unlocked new weapons, but the price tags are staggering. Turns out saving the world doesn't pay as well as he'd hoped. He finds an expensive recovery potion, a necessary evil for the final fight. He spends the points and chugs it down, boosting his strength. A surge of raw power courses through him, his eyes glowing gold. He feels an infinite strength, declaring the potion worth every point. With the clock ticking on his power-up, he races to the final battle. Elsewhere, the last monster makes his move in the school library. The beast, a former teacher, holds the library director, Reina, hostage. She demands to know how he discovered the library's hidden vault. He reveals another teacher sold them out to save his own skin. The traitor explains the vault requires both of their authority to open. Reina furiously refuses, choosing loyalty over her own life. The monster scoffs, mocking her for dying over a job title. She explains the vault's treasures are the school's last line of defense. He reveals his true allegiance to a dark cult that gave him this power. Reina is horrified, realizing the betrayal runs deeper than she imagined. The monster makes a final, chilling threat to claim everything she protects. But his monologue is cut short by a sudden arrow of light. The beast staggers back, caught completely off guard by the ambush. A volley of arrows pierces his eyes, blinding him in a flash. But he regenerates, revealing a massive, glowing eye on his chest. He roars, daring his hidden attacker to face him directly. Kano answers the call, driving his fist into the creature's weak point. The resulting shockwave sends him flying back through the library. He lands, ready for round 2, as the traitor recognizes his face. Both the director and the traitor are stunned to see the unawakened student alive. Kano apologizes for being late, but the director is just grateful to be alive. He turns to the traitor, his eyes burning with cold fury. The cowardly teacher sputters, threatening Kano's academic future. But Kano promises to graduate with honors, in kicking monster butt. The beast roars, its plans completely derailed by this one student. It can't comprehend the power coming from an unawakened boy. With a furious lunge, it decides to eliminate the anomaly first. The traitor panics, blaming Kano for making the situation worse. He tries to shove Kano forward, a move that's becoming a bad habit for his teachers. But Kano sidesteps, leaving the coward to face his new friend alone. The monster's tendrils find their mark, ending the traitor's career permanently. His final moments are spent in disbelief, defeated by his own pawn. The monster holds up its former ally, disgusted by his weakness. With a final, brutal strike, the traitor is erased from existence. Kano casually notes that now they can't open the vault. A real shame. The monster's eyes glow with pure, unadulterated rage. It clutches its head, realizing it just killed its only key. Deciding its main goal is met, the beast prepares for a tactical retreat. It dismisses Kano as a nuisance. It doesn't have time for... But Kano isn't about to let the final boss just walk away. He charges forward, his fist crackling with golden energy. The monster deploys a powerful shield, confident in its defenses. Kano's punch connects, sending a shockwave through the barrier. The beast scoffs, calling his efforts completely useless. But the shield shatters like glass under the overwhelming force. He follows through with a flurry of devastating blows. The monster is sent flying, crashing through shelves of books. It declares that Kano will become the new key to the dungeon. Reina is stunned, realizing his power rivals that of the school's principal. The monster regenerates, its rage fueling a new, stronger defense. The monster seethes, its rage focused on the boy before it. It takes to the air, declaring Kano an obstacle to be removed. It promises to remember Kano's name for their next encounter. With a final threat, it escapes through the ceiling to fight another day. But Reina knows they can't let it escape with the dungeon key. She prepares to give chase, determined to stop it at any cost. Kano stops her, suggesting they team up for this one. He quickly opens his system window, ditching his basketball talent. He copies a high-rank leap talent, spending points to boost its height. He pours even more points into speed and multiple jumps. After a 10,000-point shopping spree, he's ready for an aerial battle. With his new mobility, Kano decides to take the fight to the sky. Meanwhile, the monster enjoys the view, lost in a classic villain monologue. It dreams of the reward it will get for completing its mission. But a sudden glint of light cuts its victory speech short. It deploys a powerful shield just as an arrow of light closes in. The beast scoffs, confident its defenses will hold from this range. But the impact is far stronger than it ever anticipated. It realizes with horror that the arrow's power is still growing. The impenetrable shield shatters into 1,000,000 pieces. It can't comprehend the power behind this long-range attack. Kano appears in the sky with Reina in tow. So much for a clean getaway. He prepares for a risky maneuver, using his new ally as a launch pad. With a powerful kick, he sends the director flying toward the beast. The monster prepares to counter, underestimating its new projectile. It tries to dodge, but its movements are suddenly sluggish. A strange sensation spreads through its body, slowing it to a crawl. It realizes too late. The arrow was laced with a paralyzing poison. Kano closes the distance, ready to end this once and for all. The beast can only watch as its doom descends from above. The monster is riddled with arrows, its body locking up from the poison. The beast scoffs, claiming Kano's desperate plan has utterly failed. But Kano reveals he sacrificed precision for a guaranteed hit. He uses his new leap talent, closing the distance with a double jump. The monster is stunned, unable to comprehend the impossible move. Kano smirks, revealing this was all part of his master plan. The poison reaches its final stage, leaving the beast completely helpless. He unleashes a furious barrage of attacks, a whirlwind of golden energy. He declares it's time for the monster to pay for its crimes. The beatdown continues, each blow a flash of righteous fury. The beast admits defeat, but vows to take Kano down with it. But Kano just scoffs as the monster plummets towards the earth. It looks up from the crater, realizing Kano isn't falling with it. He defies gravity again with a triple jump, a feat thought impossible. He lands with the force of a meteor, ready to end this. He then casually mentions he can do 4. The monster's mind is officially blown. With a final, decisive stomp, the battle is finally over. The teacher reverts to his human form, laughing at his own demise. He delivers a classic villain monologue, promising his cult will prevail. A system window confirms the kill, rewarding Kano with points and 2 key items. Kano looks out at the changed world, knowing his journey is far from over. The library director announces to the school that the danger has passed. The students in the shelter are stunned, their ridicule turning to shame. Meanwhile, in the gym, his new followers erupt in cheers for their hero. But Kano knows this victory is only temporary. The doomsday clock has only been pushed back to 180 days. He tells the director there are still students in danger. She reveals the vault is full of weapons, but she only has half the code. But Kano's eyes light up. He has the other half. It's loot time. The director is left completely baffled by his sudden change in demeanor. Inside the vault, Reina admits she got a little carried away with her promises. A cute robot mascot welcomes her back to a world of truth and despair. The system explains the first Genesis, when star spirits fell to Earth. These spirits granted humanity infinite hope for the future. But the welcome screen shows a very different version of Earth. The robot's eyes glow red, revealing the true countdown to the apocalypse. Kano stares at a similar countdown, wondering if his knowledge is making him naive. The system explains that heroic acts can push back the doomsday clock. Kano files this new information away. First, he has to survive the present. He's now in the trial dungeon, but with a terrifying new rule: no respawns. This change wasn't in his original design. Someone is rewriting the rules. He sits atop his defeated foes, gazing at the trial tower ahead. Before facing the next boss, he decides to gather some intel. The system details the first crisis, controlling the star spirits within. The second crisis was ecological, as nature itself turned against humanity. The third crisis was territorial, forcing survivors into fortified cities. But the final, fatal crisis came from within, as humanity turned on itself. Kano realizes the world's history is almost identical to his game's lore. With his knowledge confirmed as his greatest weapon, the next challenge appears. The elite Bear King roars, ready to claim its next victim. Its stats are overwhelming. A level 30 beast with a star rank of 69. But Kano stands his ground, blindfolded and completely unfazed. The ground shatters under the weight of the beast's charge. Its eyes burn with a furious crimson light. Kano meets the attack head-on, his fist glowing with raw power. The beast digs in, tearing through the forest floor with its claws. Suddenly, the monster sprouts a second head, both reeling in pain. Kano's punch connects with a flash of brilliant energy. The monster is sent flying, its arm engulfed in golden flames. The sheer force of the blow sends Kano hurtling backward through the air. He meets the beast's charge with a devastating uppercut. The monster's claws shatter against the force of the blow. Kano grabs its massive arm, refusing to let go. He uses the monster's own momentum to swing it around, and hurls it into the ground with earth-shattering force. The beast roars in agony from the bottom of the crater, but Kano is already flying back for another attack. The monster can only stare in disbelief and rage. Under the light of a blood-red moon, the final act begins. The beast rises, its body riddled with wounds, ready for one last stand. But it's instantly obliterated in a storm of rock and energy. A system window confirms his victory and a meager reward. Kano scoffs at the low payout, but knows his talents are a perfect match. He considers his future build, planning to combine his skills. Suddenly, a voice praises him for his solo victory. A new challenger appears, but Kano dodges his attack with ease. The boy introduces himself as Akira, ready for a fight, but he's recognized as Tsunaya, a rich kid from another class. Kano is stunned, demanding to know why he's here. He grabs the boy, asking what happened to the other students. Tsunaya reveals a horrifying truth. Everyone else is dead. Kano demands answers, but the survivor is too terrified to speak. He clutches his head, trying to block out the traumatic memories. The fear in his eyes is palpable, his sanity clearly breaking. Overwhelmed, he collapses, losing his lunch and his composure. Kano realizes he can't let his only lead slip away. He pulls out an epic-grade healing potion from his inventory. He offers the cure, but the traumatized boy refuses. So Kano resorts to some aggressive bedside manner. The potion takes effect and Tsunaya finally begins to recover. Tsunaya feels a surge of power, his mind suddenly clear. He's stunned that Kano would give him an item money can't buy. He admits he used to look down on Kano, unlike his so-called friends. Touched by this act of kindness, he declares them brothers for life. Kano only wanted information, but hey, a rich friend isn't so bad. The system reveals Tsunaya's talent. Rich boy. You can't make this stuff up. Kano wonders if his new brother saw through his ulterior motives. With his mind clear, Tsunaya begins to recount what happened. He explains it was a situation where total annihilation was likely. They dismissed the no respawn rule and split into hunting parties. But the monsters they found were far stronger than expected. The students were completely overwhelmed by the sudden difficulty spike. A massive plant creature ensnared dozens in its deadly vines. They realized with horror that the no respawn rule was very, very real. Panic set in, and the survivors scattered in every direction. But one person refused to run, his ex, Sarah. She rallied the others, declaring that fighting was their only way out. She faced down the horde, ready to risk her life for their survival. Under her command, they won the battle, but at a terrible cost. Victory brought no relief, only a deeper sense of despair. The dungeon's death toll was already staggering. She cleans her blade, her resolve hardened by the loss. She sets her sights on the tower, but another student protests. A girl with pink hair begs her to wait for the teachers to arrive. But Sarah knows this is no accident. Something is terribly wrong. She correctly deduces that the world outside is facing the same crisis. She makes a silent vow to escape, thinking of Kano. Meanwhile, another group of survivors is ambushed. The canisters release a strange purple gas into the air. They choke and collapse, realizing too late that it's poison. Sarah struggles against the poison, the last one standing in the ambush. A mysterious armored figure appears, praising her sharp instincts. Enraged, she leaps forward, ready to take down the source of the chaos. The figure is impressed, noting her talent is truly one of a kind. But her desperate attack is stopped with a single effortless blow. He declares her future is not glory, but an endless, dark hell. Tsunaya explains these soldiers took everyone, the living and the dead. They were all dragged into the Black Tower under the blood-red moon. Kano tells his new friend to hide. He's going in to save them alone. But Tsunaya refuses, wanting to help his new brother in arms. Kano reminds him he has billions to inherit. Can't be reckless with that kind of cash. Tsunaya admits he's scared, but he's done living a useless life. He learned the hard way that money can't buy survival, only time. He now understands that true power is the only thing that matters. He begs to join the fight, promising his expensive gear will be useful. Kano realizes that in this world there are no NPCs, only main characters. He accepts the offer, challenging the rich boy to prove his resolve. They charge the tower, a two-man army against impossible odds. They arrive at a massive, sealed gate, the entrance to the dungeon's heart. Kano notes that the gate is locked, despite the first stage being cleared. He realizes his mysterious friend X must be incredibly powerful. Tsunaya decides diplomacy is overrated and pulls out a giant cannon. The system details his custom weapon, complete with a father's love defense buff. He unleashes a volley of rockets directly at the sealed door. The gate erupts in a massive fiery explosion. Tsunaya cheers, confident he's blasted their way through. But the gate begins to regenerate, repairing itself before their eyes. He prepares to fire again, ready to overwhelm its healing factor. Kano stops him, explaining that brute force won't work on this puzzle. He tells his new ally to wait as he prepares a different approach. Kano uses his leap talent, rocketing up the side of the tower. He bounds from ledge to ledge, scaling the impossible height with ease. He lands gracefully on a platform hundreds of meters in the air. Kano observes the regenerating wall, realizing this is a puzzle, not a fight. Tsunaya flies up beside him, his jetpack barely keeping pace with Kano's jumps. He boasts about his family's tech, complete with a paternal authority safety feature. The rich boy's high-tech gear is impressive, if a little over the top. Suddenly, Tsunaya's tone shifts to panic. A star spirit has vanished. Someone just died. He explains his goggles can sense spirit energy, a birthday gift from his mother. Through them, he sees Kano radiating an unbelievable amount of power. But Kano is focused, knowing they're running out of time to find a way in. Then, a memory sparks an idea, connecting the dots to a hidden solution. He tells his new friend there's still one last chance to get inside. With a leap of faith, he dives off the platform, plummeting down the tower's face. Tsunaya watches in horror, then relief, as Kano's fall becomes a controlled descent. He lands a precise punch on a seemingly random panel. He recalls his own design. Every password was set to a specific birthday. The first attempt fails, but he quickly moves to another combination. With the correct input, a massive section of the tower wall slides open. They rush inside, but Kano warns that the real challenge has just begun. He explains that with this master key, every door is now an entrance. The story shifts to a memory, a rundown residential area on the city's outer wall. A 7-year-old girl named Setsura Higure explores the Forbidden Zone. She hopes to find a friend and spots a boy sitting atop a ruined truck. It's an 8-year-old Hoki Kanu, concentrating intently on a task. He carefully places a soda can on a pile of debris. With a flick of his finger, he sends a small pebble flying. The projectile shoots through the air with impossible speed and accuracy. It strikes the can dead center, and young Setsura is completely captivated. She hesitates to approach, but the boy has already noticed her watching. But her exploration is cut short by a monstrous beast. She stumbles backward, her escape route cut off. Another creature, a giant rat, closes in for the kill. But a projectile of light zips past her head. It finds its mark with pinpoint accuracy. Young Hoki celebrates his perfect shot. His eyes are sharp, a slingshot his only weapon. He demands to know who she is and why she's here. Terrified, she apologizes, claiming she meant no harm. He tells her to stop crying, calling this no place for a rich kid. But he admits she's polite, so he doesn't dislike her. He moves with an agility that defies his age. He lands before her, offering a hand to help her up. He even offers to clean her dress. What a gentleman. She shyly accepts his kindness. He asks her name, and she introduces herself as a Higer. She's surprised he's never heard of her famous family. He declares that as long as she's with him, she'll be safe. His cleaning attempt fails miserably. Laundry is not his strong suit. She insists a little dirt is nothing to worry about. The boy is completely captivated by her spirit. He gives her a thumbs up, declaring her cool. And with a handshake, a new friendship is forged. He promises to show her a special place. He finally introduces himself as Hoki Kanu, and she shyly gives her name, Setsura Higure. He compliments her name as they run into the sunset. But their adventure takes a dark turn as kidnappers appear. They learn her family refused the ransom, sealing her fate. The memory fades, leaving only the cold resolve of the present. Sarah awakens inside the dark tower, her resolve unbroken. She realizes with a jolt that her weapon is gone. She's in a vast chamber surrounded by her captured classmates. She checks her emergency contact device, a last hope. But there's no signal. They are completely cut off. A memory of a younger Kano surfaces, a ghost from her past. Around her, panic spreads, but Sarah remains eerily calm. A desperate student tries to bargain, pointing a finger at her. He claims she's the real prize, the daughter of a powerful family. The others quickly join in, turning on their former leader. They call her a jinx, their fear twisting into blame. The armored leader grabs the student, confirming their true target. The boy's face lights up, believing he's about to be freed. But his hope is cut short in a single, brutal motion. The remaining students can only watch in abject terror. The leader declares they're all useful, even as corpses. So much for a severance package. He announces they have enough sacrifices for the ritual to begin. The fallen are piled onto a glowing sacrificial altar. A soldier activates a massive, ominous machine. From its core, a hooded figure with red tendrils descends. It begins a dark incantation, the runes on the floor glowing with power. A crimson horror erupts, consuming the bodies on the altar. It coalesces into a grotesque mass of flesh and screaming faces. The leader welcomes the survivors to the real world. Panic finally breaks them as they scramble for an escape that isn't there. A soldier deploys a shock grenade to control the chaos. A wave of energy washes over them, stunning them into silence. But it's not a stunner. It's a catalyst for a monstrous transformation. The soldiers find themselves overwhelmed by the new horde. The leader sighs, complaining about the noise but ready to do his job. He moves to cull the new herd, starting with the nearest monster. The pink-haired girl collapses, overwhelmed by her own powerlessness. But Sarah sees an opportunity in the chaos, a chance to fight back. Her first objective is clear: retrieve her confiscated weapon. She focuses her power, attempting to pull the sword through its shield. The blade rests among a pile of other weapons waiting for its master. With a final push, the energy barrier shatters into pieces. The effort drains her, but she refuses to fall in a place like this. But her quiet rebellion is noticed by an armored guard. Suddenly, the pink-haired girl throws herself in the path of the attack. The soldier scoffs at her bravery, preparing to end her life. But a flash of light cuts through the air, aimed right at him. His arm is severed in an instant, his attack completely nullified. The projectile was a spinning blade of pure, focused energy. With her sword in hand, Sarah moves like a phantom through the chaos. The wounded girl asks if she helped, finding strength in her sacrifice. Sarah thanks her for the opening, but the battle has just begun. She tells the others that cowering will only lead to their demise. She leaps forward, determined to survive for the boy she once knew. The remaining soldiers open fire, ordered to take her down, but her blade meets the first bullet with a shower of sparks. She dances through the gunfire, deflecting every single shot. This is a skill she has honed since she was a child. A memory surfaces of her intense training at only 8 years old. By 13, she was already facing live ammunition without fear. At 17, she faced down a minigun. That maid deserves a serious raise. Her sword becomes a blur, a shield of impossible speed. In the present, she cuts down both soldiers in a single elegant strike. The other students realize their only chance is to follow her lead. Inspired by her strength, they rally behind their new leader. Her courage is contagious, and the students rally for one last stand. As she carves a path, Sarah wonders why she was targeted so quickly. The only logical conclusion: there's a traitor among them. But her investigation is cut short by a new golden-armored threat. The leader of the soldiers steps forward to handle her personally. He complains about the fight making him work overtime. A truly relatable villain. Sarah tries to bribe him for information, but he's not interested in cash. He lunges forward, declaring what he wants is beyond her power to give. His attack connects, sending her reeling from the sheer force. He acknowledges her potential, but dismisses her current strength as mere entertainment. She couldn't get answers, but his actions confirm her suspicions were right. Suddenly, a beeping sound interrupts their deadly dance. Annoyed at the time, he leaps back, preparing to end this quickly. He blames her for the inconvenience, his patience clearly worn thin. He unleashes his true power, fueled by a deep hatred for working late. Wings of light erupt from his back as he charges his final attack. A sonic wave paralyzes everyone, their minds overwhelmed with pain. He declares that no one will interfere with him clocking out. He unleashes a devastating rampage, cutting down everyone in his path. Sarah is left kneeling in the aftermath, surrounded by the fallen. But even now, she refuses to give up, reaching for her sword. He stops her, impressed by her unbreakable will to survive. He holds her blade, noting it's an extension of her very soul. And then with casual cruelty, he snaps it in two. Her eyes widen in horror as her last hope shatters before her. He pins her to the wall with the shards of her own weapon. He mocks her, claiming her own strength led to her downfall. But her eyes still burn with defiance and unyielding rage. Suddenly, a new voice commands him to stop playing with his toy. It's the school bully, William, asking if she regrets choosing Kano over him. Sarah's eyes burn with rage. William was the traitor all along. He shamelessly admits it, slamming her to the ground. He gloats, savoring the sight of the school's star at his feet. With a twisted grin, he promises the real fun is just beginning. He pins her against the wall, her last hope fading. But even now, her will to fight remains unbroken. The soldier gives him 1 minute, a paid bonus for his cruelty. William declares a minute is all he needs to leave his mark. Suddenly, strange devices descend from the ceiling above. They crackle with an unfamiliar, ominous energy. A blinding flash of light engulfs the entire chamber. Sarah's eyes widen, a flicker of recognition in the light. She finds herself in a new suit, a voice apologizing for being late. Kano has arrived, standing between her and the enemy. He crackles with power, vowing death to anyone who harms his family. Sarah can only stare at the back of her unexpected savior. He came for her, just like he did all those years ago. The soldier demands answers, stunned by the impossible intrusion. But William sees this as the perfect stage for his twisted revenge. He lays out a sadistic plan, fueled by pure, unhinged jealousy. The soldier warns him, but William dismisses Kano as rankless trash. He asks if Kano is ready to accept his fate. Kano turns the question back on him, his voice cold as ice. William charges, ready to end the rankless boy's life, but Kano dodges the attack with effortless grace. He stops the blade with his bare hand, much to William's shock. With a sickening crunch, he shatters the bones in the bully's hand. William screams, unable to comprehend this impossible strength. Kano uses his opponent's own momentum against him and slams him into the ground, a statement of absolute dominance. Kano delivers a brutal lesson in consequences. William begs for a mercy he never showed anyone else. But his epic class shield offers little protection from this beatdown. He screams for his hired muscle to finally intervene. But the soldier explains murder wasn't in the contract. Gotta love a villain with a good work ethic. Desperate, William agrees to pay any price for Kano's head, but his priceless shield begins to crack under the relentless assault. It shatters completely, leaving him defenseless against Kano's fury. The other students watch, their terror replaced by grim satisfaction. Sarah is captivated by the strength of the boy she once knew. Just then, Tsunaya arrives with a gift from his new brother. Sarah is stunned, recognizing a blade of legendary quality. It's Frostfang, an epic-grade sword with the power of ice. Tsunaya relays the plan. Kano will be the distraction. They use a smoke grenade to cover the students' escape. The soldiers aren't fooled, quickly switching to thermal vision. But their advanced tech shows? Absolutely nothing. A moment later, a sniper shot takes one of them down. Turns out Rich Boy Tech comes with a few extra features. The remaining soldiers scramble to block every possible exit. But Sarah carves a path, her new blade a blur of icy steel. She vows to return for Kano once the others are safe. Back in the chamber, Kano's knuckles are bleeding, but his will is iron. William is a broken mess, begging for a forgiveness he doesn't deserve. Kano reminds him of the lives lost, rejecting his pathetic excuses. The Golden Soldier finally makes his move, telling Kano to stop playing. But Kano sees the truth. This is just a stall tactic. The soldier grabs William, using a healing skill to get him moving. William is shocked to be back on his feet, saved at the last second. As he flees, he promises a future of pain for Kano and his family. A voice crackles through his comms. The students are safe. Kano acknowledges the message. The gloves are officially off. Suddenly, a volley of arrows streaks through the hallway. The soldier deflects them, bound by his contract to protect the boy. But one arrow slips through his defenses, finding its true target. William can only stare in disbelief as his life comes to an end. Kano stands revealed, his bow drawn, his verdict delivered. A system window confirms the kill, rewarding him with points. He also acquires a piece of encrypted communication data and a key to William's private collection. Score. The soldier casually dismisses his former client's demise. He finally understands Kano's true motivation for the fight. He offers a twisted deal, Sarah's life for their permanent separation. He draws his pistols, ready to enforce the new terms. Kano answers with a volley of light-infused arrows. The projectiles meet in a brilliant flash of energy. The air crackles as bullets and arrows clash in a deadly dance. The soldier admits he underestimated the rankless boy's power. Kano moves like a phantom, dodging every single shot. Annoyed, the soldier decides it's time to reveal his trump card. He deploys 2 massive Gatling guns. Apparently, he's willing to work overtime. He unleashes a torrent of lead, ready to end this. The bullets rip through the tower, a storm of pure destruction. Kano knows his gear is no match for this level of firepower, but he reveals a secret weapon he picked up from the vault. The soldier taunts him, believing he's cornered and exhausted. He boasts that nothing can escape his 10,000 rounds per minute. With a final threat, he prepares to clock out for good. The bullets rain down, a seemingly inescapable barrage, but Kano stands his ground, protected by a new kinetic energy barrier. The soldier scoffs, assuming Sarah gave Kano the powerful shield. He claims to finally understand Kano's motivation. He accuses Kano of being a freeloader, clinging to a rich girl for a better life. He boasts that his own experience will triumph over any cheap item. He lunges forward, his stats revealing a respectable star rank of 46. Kano meets the charge, his own stats revealing a combat power nearly 3 times higher. Their fists connect in a blinding flash of golden light. Kano's punch lands true, staggering the armored mercenary. The soldier is sent flying, demanding to know Kano's true star rank. Kano casually reveals his stats, calling them average. Gotta love the modesty. The soldier is stunned, unable to believe the impossible numbers. Kano tells him to confirm it for himself with a devastating downward strike. The blow shatters his helmet, revealing the face of a grizzled veteran. The impact cracks the very floor beneath them. He follows up with a relentless barrage of punches. The soldier is sent hurtling through the tower wall. The wall explodes outward from the sheer force of the impact. Kano lands, watching his opponent get launched into the sky. The soldier crashes back to earth, cursing the boy's name. He struggles to rise, his body and pride completely broken. Refusing defeat, he channels his remaining energy for one last sonic attack. But Kano has already armed himself, declaring the soldier chose the wrong enemy. He asks if his foe is ready for the end. The soldier can only laugh. The mercenary accepts his defeat, claiming he has no fear of death. With his last breath, he warns that his employers will have their revenge. A system window confirms the kill, rewarding Kano with points and a new item. The system details the soldier's high-powered Gatling gun and the stats for his paralyzing sonic wings. But back in the main chamber, a new tremor shakes the tower. The hooded figure from the altar declares the ritual is finally complete. The hooded figure screams, announcing the descent of an outer god. A grotesque mass of flesh and skulls erupts from the altar. The tower's ceiling shatters, revealing the blood-red moon above. Kano can only stare, a horrifying realization dawning on him. A winged demon descends and the doomsday clock jumps forward by 100 days. Outside, the other students see the final boss, their hope turning to ash. Sarah feels the overwhelming pressure, wondering if this is truly the end. But Tsunaya rallies, declaring his unwavering faith in his new brother. Nozomi's eyes burn with resolve. She knows her brother will win. Kano realizes this is a hidden boss, something not in his original design. He recalls the 12 powerful Zodiac bosses from his game's lore. They were endgame content, each with its own unique gimmick. He never thought a cult could summon one, let alone in a trial dungeon. But this creature's form is completely alien to him. The cultist offers the sacrifices, begging his new god to grow strong. He's pulled into the fleshy mass, a willing sacrifice for the cause. He screams in ecstasy, calling it an honor to be eaten. Some people have weird hobbies. The creature begins to absorb him, tendrils wrapping around his body. His face contorts as his life force is drained away. Kano knows he has to stop its growth before it reaches its final form. He fires an explosive arrow, but the creature dismisses it as useless. The cultist's face appears on the mass, demanding Kano become the next meal. If explosions won't work, Kano decides it's time for more firepower. He unleashes a torrent of lead from his new Gatling guns. The creature is torn apart, but the cultist inside prays for salvation. The barrage continues, a desperate attempt to halt the transformation. The creature's true form finally consumes the fleshy core. It declares its descent complete, telling the mortals to tremble. A massive shockwave of crimson energy erupts from the tower. In the sky above, the constellation of Scorpio begins to glow. The Zodiac boss reveals its true, terrifying form. It charges a devastating attack in its scorpion tail. A beam of pure destruction rips through the battlefield. But the attack isn't aimed at Kano. It's for the students below. The boss unleashes a new wave of shadowy minions. A horde of shadow scorpions rises to join the fight. The students are completely overwhelmed by the new arrivals. They're trapped in a ring of fire, their escape cut off. One student learns the hard way this is no ordinary flame. The fire itself seems to be alive, consuming everything it touches. Tendrils erupt from the ground, dragging them to their doom. There is no escape from the monster's grasp. As one student breaks, Sarah tells him to get up and fight. She carves a path, declaring that weakness is not an option. But the monsters regenerate, their hope turning to ash. Tsunaya rallies them, his fear replaced by a newfound courage. Nozomi stands her ground, her faith in her brother absolute. Suddenly, a brilliant star descends from the heavens. It crashes into the battlefield with the force of a meteor. Kano has arrived, apologizing for his dramatic entrance. A shockwave of pure energy erupts from his landing. The students are sent flying, caught in the blast, but a golden barrier forms, protecting them from the chaos. Some are still skeptical, but Kano is already planning his next move. Sarah asks for a plan, and Kano admits he has a theory. He knows the boss's weakness, but getting close is the real challenge. Sarah sees the flaw. The boss is completely out of reach. But Tsunaya has a solution, courtesy of his family's fortune. A pillar of golden light erupts from a summoning circle. He summoned a giant robot. Because of course he did. Tsunaya reveals his secret weapon, a custom S-rank robot. But he explains it has one very expensive flaw. It runs on star spirits, burning 10,000 every minute. Sarah notes that even a corporation couldn't sustain that cost. Tsunaya admits he had to beg his father just to borrow it. He once saved up for a 30-second joyride, best 30 seconds of his life. Even with his entire fortune, he can only power it for 4 minutes. As the other students break down, Kano weighs his options. He steels his resolve, knowing this is his only chance. Suddenly, a system window confirms a 5,000-point transfer. Tsunaya offers all he has, hoping 30 seconds will be enough. Kano turns to Sarah, who looks on with concern. He reassures her, telling her not to blame herself for his choices. He tells Tsunaya to keep his points. He has enough for 4 minutes. The system confirms the link, deducting 40,000 points from Kano's stash. His creator talent unlocks the robot's full battle potential. The machine's eyes glow, fully synchronized with its new pilot. It launches into the sky as Tsunaya cheers for his new brother. Inside, Kano feels the robot become an extension of his own body. He understands the price tag, but survival is his only goal. His first priority is to eliminate the threats on the ground. With glowing blades, he carves through the shadowy minions. The creatures melt away under the onslaught of energy. The boss's tendrils reveal sharp, golden stingers. The system warns of a massive wave of incoming attacks. The robot dances through the assault, a blur of red and gold. He activates the Hive missile system, ready to clear the field. A volley of rockets launches from the robot's shoulders. The battlefield erupts in a storm of fire and light. The boss recoils, and Kano knows he has to strike before it fully forms. The robot's shoulder cannon charges, ready to fire. It unleashes a point-blank blast of pure energy. But the boss's dark aura corrodes the armor, leaving him with only 3 minutes. Kano decides to go all in, hitting the beast with maximum firepower. But the creature's massive claws block the entire volley. He switches tactics, activating the robot's rush protocol to overwhelm it with speed. A pair of brilliant starburner wings erupt from its back. He weaves through the monster's attacks, a blur of red and gold. The beast's own defenses begin to crack under the pressure. The two titans clash in a storm of light and fury. Below, Tsunaya and the others can only cheer for their new hero. But Sarah sees the truth. Kano is fighting as if he has nothing left to lose. She's overwhelmed with guilt, feeling like a burden to the one she wants to protect. The boss isn't finished, charging a new attack in its massive stinger. It unleashes a barrage of deadly energy beams from the sky. The robot's wings are damaged, its speed advantage completely gone. He deploys a last-ditch defense, a powerful energy shield. Kano steals his resolve, ready to push forward until the barrier breaks. With only 1 minute of power left, he charges head-on. He uses the shield as a battering ram against the monster's stinger. The golden barrier begins to crack under the immense strain. It shatters, but not before Kano achieves his true goal, immobilizing the beast. With the enemy pinned, he prepares for one final decisive blow. The robot activates its last protocol, its ultimate weapon. A massive cannon begins to charge, drawing in all available power. The boss counters, preparing a final attack of its own. Kano unleashes Star Judgment, a beam of pure cosmic energy. It descends from the heavens, a pillar of absolute destruction. The Zodiac boss is caught in the blast, its form disintegrating. It can only scream as it's erased from existence by the overwhelming light. The students can't believe Kano just obliterated the final boss. A system window confirms their victory and opens a gate out of the dungeon. Relief turns to celebration as they praise their new hero. Tsunaya beams with pride, his faith in his new brother fully rewarded. Sarah watches, a quiet smile confirming he's exceeded all her expectations. But the victory came at a cost. The robot's power runs out. Kano is forcibly ejected, the system wishing him good luck. Thanks for nothing. As he falls, a piece of the robot's armor flies toward him. It's a gauntlet, a final parting gift from the machine. He catches it, a souvenir from his very expensive joyride. Now all he has to do is survive the fall from orbit. Suddenly, a strange sensation washes over him. A wave of pain and weakness cripples him midair. The system announces a special debuff for overexertion. For 10 minutes, all his skills are locked. He's completely powerless. Below, his friends realize his descent isn't slowing down. Tsunaya connects the dots. It's a side effect of piloting the robot. He ignites his jetpack, ready for a heroic rescue. He rockets into the sky, vowing to save his new brother. Sarah prepares to follow, not about to be left behind. Meanwhile, the other students are gathered at the exit portal, but their only escape route begins to shrink before their eyes. A student points to the sky, a new horror dawning on them. The Zodiac boss wasn't destroyed, it was just regenerating. An error message appears. The gate is closing in 100 seconds. Panic erupts as the students stampede towards the exit. The pink-haired girl is left behind, begging for someone to help her. Sarah rushes to her side, refusing to leave anyone behind. But she knows the shrinking gate means she can't save them all. She rallies the survivors, preparing for one last desperate stand. The pink-haired girl asks Sarah for the plan, but she's suddenly sent flying through the air. Sarah's plan is simple: throw her to safety. The other students can only watch in disbelief. This is certainly one way to evacuate your allies. The crowd is stunned by the unconventional rescue. They land safely in a protective field, grateful but bruised. Sarah stands her ground, honoring Kano's sacrifice. She vows to get every last one of them out alive. Meanwhile, Kano accepts his fate as the gate closes. He tells his friends to escape without him. but the Zodiac boss's stinger descends for the final blow. Tsunaya intercepts the attack, becoming a human shield. The impact shatters the ground beneath them. Kano is stunned to find himself still breathing. Tsunaya apologizes for forgetting the robot's side effects. He says it was worth it if it meant saving everyone. He wanted Kano to live more than anything. But he's not done yet. He has one more trick up his sleeve. He summons a high-tech motorcycle. Rich kids get all the best toys. With his flight suit destroyed, this is their only way out. They race towards the closing gate at max speed. Their window of escape is shrinking by the second. They tear across the battlefield, leaving a trail of dust. But Tsunaya spots Sarah, who stayed behind. Kano tells him not to stop, he'll handle it. Sarah reaches out as the bike closes in. Kano grabs her hand, their timing perfect. He pulls her aboard in a single fluid motion. Now a trio, they make their final dash for freedom. Sarah admits she's tired of him always leaving her behind. He holds her close, vowing that this time he's not going anywhere. But Tsunaya cuts the reunion short. The gate is closing in 10 seconds. He tells them to hold on for their lives. With a twist of the throttle, he pushes the bike to its absolute limit. It's a final, desperate sprint for the finish line. They race towards the shrinking portal, their only way out of this hell. But the Zodiac boss has one last parting gift for them. A final attack shatters the ground, blocking their path. A massive chasm opens up, the dungeon refusing to let them go. But Tsunaya isn't about to let a little canyon stop him. He reveals the bike has a fighter jet engine. Because why wouldn't it? They soar through the air, a blur of light against the blood-red moon. But Tsunaya realizes he may have overdone it with the whole jet engine thing. They crash hard, their last hope skidding to a halt. The portal's countdown ticks down to 5 seconds. The bike is a wreck, their grand escape plan up in smoke. Kano carries Tsunaya, who blames himself for their failure. Sarah can only watch, feeling powerless to help. With 1 second left, they accept their fate. They're not going to make it. Suddenly, a strange device appears, stabilizing the portal. The gate expands, held open by an unseen force. The trio can only stare, stunned by their last-second rescue. A figure emerges from the light, the headmaster of Stella Academy. He commends the 3 students for their incredible bravery. He tells them their part is over. The teachers will handle it from here. A team of elite instructors moves in to contain the dungeon's core. They begin a powerful sealing ritual around the unstable energy, but the core continues to surge, its power growing stronger. The headmaster prepares to intervene, vowing not to fail again. The headmaster unleashes his own power, a torrent of golden energy. He summons a ring of blades to surround the unstable dungeon core. With a single command, the swords converge, sealing the dark energy. The chaotic power is compressed into a stable, harmless form. Tsunaya is officially the headmaster's #1 fan. The powerful man approaches Kano, his expression unreadable. He places a firm, heavy hand on the boy's shoulder. He thanks Kano for his bravery, as the system reveals his incredible stats. Kano tries to play it cool, but his system reminds him he can't afford this talent. The headmaster dismisses them, promising their deeds will be remembered. The 3 survivors finally walk towards the exit portal. Kano notes the headmaster's power comes from skill, not just rank. They step through the light, leaving the dungeon's horrors behind. A warm golden light welcomes them back to the real world. Kano emerges, and the first voice he hears is his sister's. Nozomi rushes into his arms, overwhelmed with relief. A massive crowd erupts in cheers for their new savior. She reminds him they have an audience, but he doesn't seem to care. He holds her tighter, vowing to never let go again. With a gentle smile, he finally calms her fears. He looks out at the crowd, no longer just a background character. The doomsday clock confirms his victory has bought them nearly 3 years. But behind the scenes, some see Kano not as a hero, but a threat. The headmaster orders a full analysis of the boy who defied all logic. His expression hardens as he turns to his next priority. He declares a full-scale purge of the traitors within the academy. He vows that the cult will pay dearly for their attack. The news reports on the incident, the public unaware of the true danger. The scene shifts to a quiet convenience store in the lower district. Inside, a familiar voice welcomes the 2 siblings home. Their mother pulls them into a tight embrace, relieved to have them home safe. His father beams with pride, congratulating Kano on saving the academy. A feast is laid out on the table, a celebration of their survival. For the first time, Nozomi dotes on her brother, piling his bowl high with food. Their parents tease her, wondering when she stopped bullying him. Nozomi is flustered, insisting she's always been the perfect little sister. A quick flashback suggests her definition of kind involved a lot of punching. Kano just smiles, soaking in a moment of peace he thought he'd lost forever. He remembers their humble life, running a small convenience store, and the sacrifices his parents made to send them to an elite academy. This simple happiness is what he's fighting for, and he won't let it be destroyed again. But he knows his victory has put a target on his back, and he must get stronger. The scene shifts to the massive, opulent Higurashi family estate. Inside, Sarah contemplates the day's harrowing events. She sits alone in the moonlight, a world away from Kano's warm home. A maid brings her dinner, informing her that her parents are at a party. Sarah dismisses her with a wave, her mind clearly elsewhere. The maid explains her parents were worried, but the party was unavoidable. Sarah scoffs at the idea, her eyes cold and distant. The maid can only look on, her concern for the young lady palpable. Sarah asks to be left alone, and the maid quickly obliges. She knows William's powerful family will seek revenge against Kano. She tries to access her family's database for information on the cult, but finds her access is completely blocked by a high-level restriction. Even her authority is useless against this level of secrecy. She holds her sword, feeling the familiar sting of being unable to protect him. She vows to become strong enough to stand by his side, not behind him. Elsewhere, at the headquarters of Amiya Heavy Industries, a report is given on Tsunaya, who has been asleep since returning home. His staff gossips about how the incident has changed him for the better. Apparently, trauma builds character. Back at his family's penthouse, Tsunaya is passed out cold. But even in his sleep, he smiles, vowing to become stronger. The city moves on, unaware of the battle that just saved it. And the doomsday clock continues its relentless countdown. At a press conference, the headmaster takes full responsibility for the attack. He admits his absence was a critical failure and offers a sincere apology. He then lays out his three-part plan for the future. First, full compensation for the families of every victim. Second, a full-scale investigation to purge the Academy of Traitors. And third, a massive bounty on the heads of the heretic god cult. The crowd is stunned by the unprecedented 5,000-point reward. With glowing eyes, the headmaster officially declares war. The government follows suit, launching its own citywide investigation. Even the university entrance exams are postponed for the public's safety. 3 days later, Stella Academy is already being rebuilt. The headmaster reveals his team ran simulations of the incident. The projections were catastrophic, a near-total wipeout of the students. But the actual results were a miracle, with casualties drastically lower. A miracle, he explains, that is all thanks to one person. He summoned the three heroes to his office, singling out Kano. Kano tries to share the credit, but his friends know the truth. Tsunaya insists they were just backup. Kano was the one who saved them all. The headmaster agrees, telling the boy it's time to accept his reward. He grants Kano 10,000 points and full access to the Academy's treasury. Sarah receives 7,000 points and the rights to a powerful weapon. Tsunaya gets 4,000 points and a blank check for all his broken toys. The headmaster seems particularly relieved the rich kid is satisfied. He asks if they accept, and the three raise their hands in unison. But he misreads the room, asking if their rewards are too small. Sarah speaks up, declaring she's not worthy, and her points should go to Kano. The headmaster declares his pride and grants them 4 days of rest. But as they leave, Kano turns back with one last question. He asks about the headmaster's conveniently timed business trip. The powerful man's expression hardens for just a moment. He then cheerfully declares that the information is top secret. Outside, Tsunaya is still complaining about Sarah giving away her points. But Sarah agrees, vowing to become strong enough to stand by Kano's side. Suddenly, a system window announces a massive point transfer from Tsunaya. Kano is stunned by the sheer size of the gift. He immediately accuses the rich boy of robbing his own father. Tsunaya explains he just shook down every other student for their rewards. A true philanthropist. He proudly declares he can't let his new brother take a loss. Kano walks on, leaving his two new allies to sort out their priorities. But in his mind, he reveals he already knows the headmaster's secret. Thanks to the map from his friend X, no corner of the academy is hidden. He even knows the headmaster's true, overwhelming power. And the classified intel on his terminal, a new S-class dungeon,